Coming up on 5 Minute News. Biden meets with Manchin, but still no budget agreement. Africa trying to end vaccine inequity by reverse engineering its own. And wildfire and drought-filled California doused by a major storm. It's Monday, October 25. I'm Anthony Davis. Democrats have almost reached an agreement on a social spending bill that is a pared-down version of US President Joe Biden's priorities, and plan to vote on that and an infrastructure bill in the coming week, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on Sunday. Biden met with fellow Democrats Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Joe Manchin, who has objected to parts of the bill, likely due to his own connections to the coal industry. No top-line number for the spending bill had been expected to emerge from Sunday's breakfast meeting at Biden's home in Delaware, given some of the complicated issues that needed to be resolved. Biden, Schumer and Manchin had a productive discussion and continued to make progress, the White House said in a statement after the meeting, without elaborating. Democrats have struggled to agree on a framework of $2 trillion or less that will allow the House of Representatives to move forward next week on a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill and set the stage for passage of Biden's larger Build Back Better package. The divisions threaten to derail Biden's agenda on social spending and climate change and embarrass the US president as he prepares to attend the opening of a global climate summit in Glasgow that begins on October 31st. In a pair of Cape Town warehouses converted into a maze of airlocked sterile rooms, young scientists are assembling and calibrating the equipment needed to reverse engineer a coronavirus vaccine that has yet to reach South Africa and most of the world's poorest people. The energy in the gleaming labs matches the urgency of their mission to narrow vaccine disparities. By working to replicate Moderna's COVID-19 shot, the scientists are effectively making an end run around an industry that has vastly prioritized rich countries over poor in both sales and manufacturing. "We are doing this for Africa at this moment, and that drives us," said Emil Hendricks, a 22-year-old biotechnologist for Afrigen Biologics and Vaccines, the company trying to reproduce the Moderna shot. "We can no longer rely on these big superpowers to come in and save us." Some experts see reverse engineering, recreating vaccines from fragments of publicly available information, as one of the few remaining ways to redress the power imbalances of the pandemic. Only 0.7% of vaccines have gone to low-income countries so far, while nearly half have gone to wealthy countries, according to analysis by the People's Vaccine Alliance. The UN-backed effort to even out global vaccine distribution, known as COVAX, has failed to alleviate dire shortages in poor countries. Donated doses are coming in at a fraction of what is needed to fill the gap. Meanwhile, pressure for drug companies to share, including Biden administration demands on Moderna, has led nowhere. Arguing that American taxpayers largely funded Moderna's vaccine development, the Biden administration has insisted the company must expand production to help supply developing nations. Moderna has pledged to build a vaccine factory in Africa at some point in the future, but after pleading with drug makers to share their recipes, raw materials, and technological know-how, some poorer countries are done waiting. A powerful storm drenched wildfire-scarred Northern California on Sunday, triggering mudslides and flooding, while heavy winds toppled utility poles and downed trees in what meteorologists called a bomb cyclone. Up to 10 inches of rain were expected to wash over the west coast, said the Weather Prediction Center at the National Weather Service. It's an atmospheric river already moving through Northern California. The storm follows the busiest wildfire season in California history and heightens threats of flash flooding. Much of the region is in severe, extreme, or exceptional drought, as classified by the U.S. Drought Monitor. Multiple mudslides were already reported in some of the 570,000 acres blackened by the Dixie Fire in the Sierra Nevada mountains northeast of San Francisco, the second largest wildfire recorded in state history. The area of Central California where the 2020 Creek Fire ripped through was placed under evacuation warning status. Emergency services issued flood warnings for areas including Marin Country, just north of San Francisco, and portions of the Napa River. Winds over 50 miles per hour gusted through San Francisco and triggered power outages around Sacramento, where residents tweeted photographs of toppled utility poles smashing cars and blocking roadways. As much as 5 inches of rain was predicted and will likely reach Los Angeles sometime today. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.